Welcome to another edition of One on One with Mitch Lafon. Joining me this week from Ugly Kid Joe, singer Whitfield Crane. We talk about their new album, Uglier Than They Used to Be, which features a guest performance by Phil Campbell of Mötorhead. We talk also about the band's history, the drummer moving on and going over to Godsmack, and of course, future plans. Will the band be touring, recording some more, etc., etc., etc.? Let's just get right into this. Here is the one, the only Whitfield Crane. We are speaking with Ugly Kids Joe's Whitfield Crane. Good day, sir. Pleasure to talk to you.
Greetings.
Yeah, you've been in and out of the rock world for the last few years, and there's tons of projects and new albums. So I guess we'll get started with that. Of course, the album being uglier than they used to be. You got back together in 2010. We're now ending 2015. You did an EP back in 2012, but why the 5 year wait between the reunion and actual release of the album?
I guess just timing, a lot of people are doing a lot of things and did the EP work? Did it garner any forward motion, which it did? And then, hey man, we should make a new record. And, and then that shows when it does. So you got Dave Portman, he's a busy guy being a production master, and that's where he can fit us in. So we had 21 days he gave us, and we went in and slammed it out.
Right, and it sounds great. So talk to me about putting it together. Do you look back to, America's Least Wanted and of course, the Big Cats in the Cradle single and all that stuff and go, okay, we got to recapture that? Or do you say, hey, it's 2015, we need to move this thing forward?
Well, when we were kids doing that, we had those successes. That wasn't on purpose. We
Right,
were we were just making music.
right.
So it's pretty much the same thing. You just go, you do your thing and you draw from your talent pool and you go make a record. For us, we've never been thought out, never will be thought out. We just threw all of us in a room in Louisiana and we like what would happen, and this is what happened. So no, we're not chasing anything. If anything, it's a nice closure of sorts. Like it's like we had this great experience, 7 year experience with Ugly Kid Joe, and then we literally took off like 15, 16, 17 years, and then we've had the fortuitous landing of all being alive and getting in a room and making music. That's what it's really about. So it's all about music. It always has been. Success is cool. It's cool that we had success, and it's cool that we're making music. So no, we're not chasing that, but that was a good thing that happened. So that's probably why we're here, is because we had success. So um, it's a special thing that's going on.
It really is. Talk to me a little bit about how it was 15, 16 years ago. I mean, you had, a label and label support and tour support and things were
hmm
a little more comfortable. Now, how much of this is pretty much just you and the guys taking care of business?
Well, when you're 23 and get a record deal, wow, what a incredible happening, let alone a successful campaign being your band, right? We toured around the world, we sold 6 million records and did all the things you should do when you're 23, 24. And so that was a total different experience and a great experience. I'm super grateful. I think I could speak for all of us. We're super grateful. Like I never left California, and I went around the world. We'd show up in Australia and, there'd be 5,000 people waiting for us. We're like, wow, music and food. And so for this time through, it's a different mindset, like there's all these guys in the band that, have had these different experiences, like, whether it be family or, marriages, fatherhood, all different bands, whatever it may be. And so is it different without the machine of the record?
Yeah.
That yes, it's absolutely different. But I don't want to make small of the fact that it was a great experience that we first had. Now it's different in the sense of like I'm glad that friction isn't there. You know, I'm also grateful for the friction that had existed. But you know, now if you're really in the game still, like you're not going to sell songs, you're not going to sell million records. It's not going to happen. So if you're really here now and you're really actually here now, you're here to make music. And so there's a cool weight. There's no A&R guy. There's no label. Those are the entities that were, you know, and understandably hungry for the next single or whatever, right? You know, we've always just got to make music, and we're very lucky to have, you know, any form of success. So this time through, you know, we did the pledge campaign, and I was on the fence, like, will that work? It totally worked. And so there's no outside entity bothering the process, you know. And if you're really going to make music, it's not like we were all in there like we're going to sell a million records. It's not going to happen, right? So why were we there? Well, because we're music fans, you know. We love making music. So that difference, I guess the difference you're asking about is, you know, when we're kids, and once again, I don't want to make small of it. It's like that was an awesome experience, and now we're in you know, I guess in this moment, which is very rare. It's very rare that you could, as far as my assessment, that you could have you know, a great success like we did, and then take off literally 15 plus years and come back and go make music and tour the world. So for me, I can only talk for me, but like, wow, how's it different? Well, it's a gift. Like, it's like, wow, this is so cool. Like, we wouldn't just play, you know, these UK shows to celebrate the pledge campaign's completion and the completion of the album. And I was looking at the audience, and we're singing sold out shows, all shows sold out. And everybody's singing every word, not just, you know, everything about your cats, but every, like, you know, Milkman's Son or whatever. You know, people are pretty stoked on this band. And that's awesome. So, like, you know, what's the difference? You know, obviously the machine is different, but, you know, my intent isn't different. Like, I love singing songs, and I'm grateful to get to go do it.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you back, because I actually had bought the albums back in the day. On the pledge campaign, since you mentioned that, there was also the ability to get the Richards Crane album.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that project with you know, the Richards Cane's project. Has that been released yet? Because that actually I haven't found. But
well, if you went on iTunes, it would exist.
Okay.
And it's a great you know, vocal based album. So there's a guy named Lee Richards, hence Richards Crane, and I met the guy in 2007. We did a record together called Another Animal with all the Godsmack guys. And you know what? You know, he is a songsmith. He is a, you know, magic guy. And so, you know, here's the gig, man. Here's the gig. I want to sing songs. I can write some songs, but not like this guy can, not like Dave Boardman can, not like Klaus can. You know, I can write some songs, but not at that level. I don't play an instrument, but I can sing. So what's my job? My job is to figure out different ways to sing, and one of the ways I've figured out was to create a band with Lee Richards Crane. You know, if you go on, if your listeners listen, is this an actual audio thing, or is this are you writing this down? Like,
no, it's going to be this is all audio.
Okay, cool. I don't know. Yeah, so any of your listeners, go check out YouTube and go check out Richards Crane and go check out a song called Black and White. It features Miles Kennedy.
Yeah,
which it's a very special song, and you know, we captured something. So Richards Crane is just like, you know, like my station in life. Like, as far as a human being goes, you know, I'm supposed to go sing, you know, and I'm supposed to, you know, maybe give a little joy here and there and be inspired and hopefully be inspiring. So Richards Crane is a product of that, you know, like, use what you got. Like you said before in this little storyline we're inside of, you know, like, what's the difference? Well, the difference is now it's on you. And when I say on you, I mean on me. So it's up to you, to me, to go and coordinate and get it done. Because no one's going to help you, so they'll get it done. And that's what I'm doing, you know. And that could be Richards Crane, that could be Anthony Joe, that could be Mass Mental, that could be, you know, whatever. You know, that could just be being nice to a guy at Starbucks, you know, whatever. So Richards Crane is, you know, it's a great record. It's a great vocal record. You know, like, it's got a lot of harmony, and it's dark but yet hopeful.
Yeah, and I actually was checking it out on SoundCloud before, and it does sound great. Now, you did mention another animal, which also featured Shannon Larkin, who plays drums with Godsmack and with Ugly Kid Joe. Um,
Hmm.
you created that, and you put out songs and stuff in 2007, 2008, 2011. Why not just continue with the new project? Why revisit Ugly Kid Joe? Why not just say, okay, listen, we did that. Now we've got this new entity. Let's work this.
Well, I guess because Godsmack's a big band, there's no space for another animal to really do its thing. So, like, if another animal's gonna be anything at all, it'll be like a studio type project, and they're profound. Those guys, I mean, spit out riffs and spit out music. They have so much music inside them. That's why another animal manifested in the first place. They have too much music
Right.
to my benefit. To my benefit. But why bring back a guitar? It's a great question. I don't really have an answer for you. I'm overjoyed that this has happened. Like, I thought it would happen after 10 years. Like, I was like 10 fucking years. Wow. But no, 17 years.
Yeah, you took
So,
you took a while.
yeah, and there's no answer for you. Like, why? Like, it's like I don't have that answer. I would have been happy 5 years after we broke up to be together, or 10, or whatever. But and by the time I got to 10, I was like, wow, this ain't gonna happen. So the fact that it's here at all, I mean, I grew up with Klaus as a kid, so we're friends. We're friends. Like, when the band died, we didn't die as friends, but everybody else in the band, like, that was our connection. That was our bloodline. So sure, I'd see like Larkin or Fortman or whomever, but we weren't making music, so like there was this almost a
The void.
space between,
Yeah.
but not, it wasn't dark, it wasn't mean, it wasn't
Right.
angry. It just we didn't have a me and Klaus, on the other hand, just went back to being friends. We have the same friend pool, we have the same life history, we just went back to being friends. But with the other guys, who I, admire, I mean, the talent pool of Ugly Kid Joe by the time it ended, like particularly the '95 lineup, with Larkin and Crockett and Fortman and Eichstadt, that band was actually, like when I look at other bands, like, we toured a lot, big shows, small shows, whatever. That was a badass band. But once the band was done, there's a certain element, because that's what you do, right? And then Dave went on to be on this, he went on to become this, magnificent producer, like legendary dude who he is today. And then Shannon went on to be Godsmack, and then and then I'd see those guys. Maybe I'll see Dave when he goes to LA, or I'll see Shannon at a Godsmack show, or whatever. But there was always like a piece missing, and that's okay because it's understandable. But so to put everybody back in the room, right? There's something really beautiful. So now if I talk to any one of those guys on the phone, which I did anyway, but now the currency, the difference is that we just went and did what we're supposed to do together. And there's something nice about that. I mean, it passed the music itself, which I think is a great record and blah, blah, blah. But I love those guys, and you forget sometimes. Like, sometimes you're being a band, or perhaps you have a small business or whatever it is. And, maybe outside of that business or the band or whatever it is, you kind of forget why you guys know each other, or whatever that is. So to get back literally full circle and make this record with these guys, we all knew it, but it was innate. No one said one word about it because it was just solid and real. And, that for me, sure, we made a great record, and sure, we're going to go tour around the world. And, I'm excited about all that. That's what I want to do, is get to the stage. But for me personally, to, in this life, you don't live that long, 100 years or 70 years, whatever, how long you live, to have not a completion, but a renaissance, or a closure, or something like that. Like, it's nice to see these guys again, and to love each other, and to be creative, and literally go, here is a body of music because of that connection. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I would imagine in making this album there was a lot less pressure, because it wasn't you have to have the next single, you'd have to have the next whatever to get on the next big tour. It's like, let's just sort of hang out and make some music, and it'll be what it'll be, right? So that's got to be rewarding just in itself.
Yeah, we always were that.
Right.
the pressure you speak of was there always. Like, when we were the label, like, first of all, the label signed us. They didn't expect much. We sold a bunch of records off that EP. Boom. Same thing for the second record. By the time we did Menace, we didn't let the record company hear one song. We were insane. We were decadent and, a little bit polluted. So like the label wasn't even allowed. We always were doing that. But you're right in the sense of there wasn't anything lording their energy over us, right? So in this new record. So yeah, I'll tell you this, no matter how it manifests for me personally, getting to make a record, any of these records I've made, I'm stoked the whole time. If you're saying, is it different now? I would say it's harder now because you don't have everybody financing you.
Right.
So, there was a couple of people in that, legion of record company world that believed in us, and that was cool too. I'm still friends with those people. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I guess the difference now, or the undeniable difference, is that he or she who's still in this game loves the game because there's no money to be made off it. So that part of it, like when when everyone's all, I'm in, I'll get myself there, I'll get to the studio, I'll get there, right? It did, whether we were buying plane tickets for them or whether they're flying in themselves, like there was an absolute synergy and direction to being creative and being together, which had nothing to do with the machine. And that isn't better or worse, but that difference is magical. And, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, it really is. Now let me talk about some of the people you've worked with. You've had Rob Halford as a guest on one album, and on this one you've got Phil Campbell of Mötorhead helping out on Ace of Spades, and of course Dallas Fresca, who's an Australian star, helping out on Papa Was a Rolling Stone. First of all, just how cool is it? First of all, working with Judas Priest, Halford, Rob, and working with a guy from Mötorhead. I mean, here are two of the sort of biggest names in metal, and you snagged them for spots on your albums.
That's the best.
Yeah.
we live for those bands. We love Ozzy and Sabbath and Priest and AC/DC and all that. So yeah, if you're asking me how it was to have Rob Halford sing on American Most Wanted, that was my dream. I grew up listening to Priest, and I lived for Priest, and he's one of my, my whole family, just so you know, is all Stanford grads, Stanford University.
Right.
I didn't graduate high school, but what I did do is sit in my room all day singing Priest, like trying to mirror that guy, like really giving it in. My mom would look at me and be like, God damn, what's wrong with this kid? Or hopefully this will work out. So the fact that, like, I talked to my mom the other day, and I'll tell you this, I'll literally tell you a beautiful story I haven't told anybody. But it's a really cute, mom, son thing. But so the other day, just like last week, I went with Robert Trujillo and the Mass Metal guys, and we went and gave Lemmy the Lifetime Achievement Award for Bass Player Magazine, Bass Player Live or whatever it was called.
Right.
And I told my mom about it. She's not never sure quite where I'm at, or literally geographically. Like, she goes, "Where are you? And what did you get to do today?" And she's so proud. She's a mom, And so anyway, so she's on Facebook or whatever. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna go to this thing." She knows how much I love Lamb, and she knows how much I love Priest. And she knows who Angus is and all that. And she was so tickled. Right, I was getting on a plane to go to do this thing, to go jam a couple songs and celebrate Lemmy. And she was so proud as a mom. She's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, what do you mean, Mom? Like, what do you mean exactly? And she's like, well, you sat in your room, as I just depicted to you, and like, I was possessed as a child, teenager. And she's like, you went from worshiping these guys, and it's the first time I ever heard this bell. She's all, now you're one of these guys.
Right.
I was like, wow. I was like, wow. But I never heard that or thought about that. And I still won't really necessarily agree with it, but I really like that she said it,
Did she ask for an autograph at the same time?
No.
No, but that is endearing, right? Because I mean, there you are in your room singing along for all these years, and she's saying, "Why are you wasting your time? Why don't you go to Stanford? Come on." And
No, no, she never did that.
Okay.
She never said that once. She was like, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was about 18 or 19, very limited, that perfect age of testosterone and, I don't know,
Right.
14 to 25, 26, like you're out of your mind as a male.
Yep.
Let alone a heavy metal kid. And I remember my sister came back. My sister actually didn't go to Stanford. She went for her first chunk of college to Berkeley, and then she went to Stanford Business School. But anyway, she came back from college, and I was still living in my mom's house, all mad about nothing, And I went under the Christmas tree, and and I was still excited about Big America, bigger the better, right? And there's always this present, I was like literally an 18 or 19-year-old kid about to leave the house. It certainly should leave the house. And under the Christmas tree were these presents, I'd already kind of snooped around and seen it says Wit. I was like, oh, this is big, this is great. And and this is just to find the story. This is to my mom's credit. So and of course my sister was in on it, right? My dad was long gone, but
right.
And I opened the first thing. I was like, why didn't you get your present? It was a total conspiracy. But this is how dumb I was. So I opened the first gift, right? And it was pots and pans, right?
All right.
And I was all pots and pans. I was like, we already have pots and pans. I didn't literally get it. They both looked at me like, get it? Like, get out?
Right.
But I swear to God, I didn't get it. I was like, wow, it's so weird they gave me pots and pans. Am I supposed to cook in the house? I didn't understand. Next, and then we opened some other gifts. That's my next present, and this was a really heavy duty next level skill saw, like a carpenter skill saw.
And go build a house.
Well, but not even build a house. Go get a job. Go be like that. That was all there was for me. Like go, do that. Do something. I was like, I still didn't get it. I was like, wow. Then there was a drill, and then there was this, and then it's the best. The smaller the presents got, the better they got. Then one of the gifts was a Tascam Porta One, which is like an early, like you could put like actual cassette tape in there, and on 4 tracks you could make music. Not that I knew how to do it, but I knew people that knew how. I wanted to be in band, I really did, but I didn't know what to do. So then I told my mom about that. I will get a Tascam Porta One, and one day there it was. And then the smallest gift, and I think most apt gift is it was a SM58 microphone.
Right.
And she was just like, please do something with your life, right? And of course I took the microphone.
And started singing. That's a great story. Let me quickly ask you, because I know we're running out of time here, so I don't want to cut you off, but you were for a brief period with Life of Agony. It didn't end as well as it should have. They asked you to kindly leave.
Okay. Yeah, man.
I
told you, I gotta say, I disagree with you. That was a great experience.
Okay.
I came back. I mean, I'm not hurt over that. I'm grateful. That was an awesome experience. So, I came back from India, and I came back to Santa Barbara, and I was like, wow, I have no band. Ugly Kid Joe just broken up, and Scott Ian called me and said, hey, man, you should be in this band. And I said, what is it? And so I got some music, and I listened to it and tried out, and got the gig, and I toured around the world with that band in an obscure fashion, meaning the Soul Searching Sun record was out, but I hadn't sung on it, but yet there I was on tour. It was the greatest challenge. What a great band. And I wasn't meant to be in that band. That band should be that band. But for me, the timing of that couldn't have been better. So yeah, sure, they said you got to go, but fair enough. I was grateful to have been there.
Okay, so it wasn't like a dark period of your life where Ugly Kid Joe had stopped existing. Here you are in a gig that didn't work out on the long term. So it wasn't like this big depressing moment, like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? It was like, hey, I gave it a shot.
No. I got that band, the '98 Ozfest tour, and I met all kinds of cool contemporary musicians. I went and made a great band in LA and lived in Hollywood. No, it was a great door to open, and I'm glad they're back together. They're a great that dude, Alan Roberts, that guy.
Right.
He's the songsmith, the lyricist. He's the man behind the curtain. That is a talented man. And if you're a singer, which of course I am, and you get to stand, and plus, let me just tell you about that band. It's like, I was like, if anything, not the end of it, but the during of it, the duration of the experience was, I had only sung as a kid Joe. I could I sing a different style? Could I get those tones? Well, I mean, it was a teaching for me. I was like, wow, there's a broader range inside me than I thought there was. So if anything, I mean, without a doubt, that was a gift. And now, and I'm already down with the East Coast, and I love the East Coast. So, no, I was never sad. I was like, oh, fair enough, thanks,
So so it was a learning experience, and I know we're going a little long here, so I'll ask you two last ones.
I don't mind, dude.
All right,
Talk
good.
for hours.
All right, that sounds good to me. One of my guilty pleasures growing up in the '80s or living through the '80s was, of course, the band Pretty Boy Floyd. I just thought they were so ridiculous that they were awesome. Ugly
Yeah.
Kid Joe, the story goes, is that you took your name sort of as a what's the word I'm looking for? As a sort of a backwards tribute to them, saying, "Hey, they're Pretty Boy Floyd. Well, hell, we'll be Ugly Kid Joe." Um, that story's reasonably accurate, I would imagine.
Hmm.
What did you think of that band? What do you think of go? What was
I've
going
never,
on?
I've never really listened to one song of that band. I
Right?
just knew they were super glammed out
Yeah,
and lithe. They're lithe, like skinny and beautiful and
yeah,
kind of feminine and whatever. But like Motley Crue without the evil.
right.
And like old Motley Crue, and the Crue ruled. And we weren't that, and good for them for being that. That's great. They picked an image, so I celebrate that. But we weren't that. We lived, in Isla Vista, California. We had skateboards and backpacks, and we waited out the summer and kind of lived on, couches,
Right.
and then and pooled our money together for a rehearsal room. Not to say that might. I mean, I don't know how dissimilar that could be from those dudes. They just had a bunch of makeup and stuff.
Right. Well,
So I don't know I don't know their life, their actual real lives, but like their image of that takes a lot of effort to be that. Wow, our image was always no image at all. Just show up and play your songs. So it's funny that we ended up with that name because of them. I guess that's it. It's funny.
It's just a great story. I just love that story because by the time that they came out, glam had gotten so glammy that it became sort of a parody of itself, and we needed bands like Ugly Kid Joe and then everything that came after, the whole Seattle scene, to sort of balance things out and say, hey, wait a minute, man, we can't all wear 18 layers of makeup.
But you can't. But you can. Like
Right.
it's okay that they do that, and it's okay that David Bowie's David Bowie. David Bowie's a pioneer in a lot of different ways. But here's the thing. Let's just be honest. Music, heavy metal music, country music, whatever kind of music, it's all absurd, right? So
Yeah.
people are living their lives around the world. The common theme that all the humans agree upon is food, right? Everyone
Right.
likes to eat,
Of
and
course.
music. Everyone likes melody and rhythm.
Sure.
So then there's like the categories of music, and yeah, I'm not down with, never have been with glam or whatever. I don't demonize it. It's not my forte. So the main thing is, I talked to Lemmy years ago, and I'm like, what is this? What am I involved in? Like back in 92, 93, and all this, this big, wave I was involved in this wave of my, my dreams coming true with music and touring and worldwide touring. I'd never been out of California, as I said. And he was so awesome in the sense of he dispelled, and I realized I'm permanently a student, in life, let alone music. And he dispelled for me. He said he explained to me the myth of the rock star and then the truth of the working musician. And I get that. And when he said that, it was like, the penny, you put a penny in the machine, it goes click, and I heard it, and or blew the spell or whatever. The thing is you can talk to anybody, a country star, a glam guy, me, in San Francisco, talking about Luke and Joe or whatever. The main thing you want to do as a musician is be working. So you want to be a working musician, and that's it. So like if you have a skill set, like for instance, I'm not sure how you categorize yourself, but you want to do what you do. And if you're not doing it, you don't feel whole.
I agree.
So and so there's there's the idea of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing, which of course I lived out, but it's hollow, and it's not bad. It's awesome. Go experience that. But past all that, what is the currency of why you could even get there? Is you want to make songs, you want to sing songs, you want to, if you're a drummer, you want to play drums, and on and on with whatever instrument you play. So, the main thing is I want to be a working musician, and there's a lot of times when I haven't been. And, and then that's the desert, and the desert makes water pretty tasty. So when I get to come back and singing Ugly Kid Joe, or doing another Animal record, or Richard's Crane, or Mass Mental, whatever I'm doing, I'm totally, focused on being just grateful. And that's awesome, because that's how I started anyway. And then you have the journey in between, where you're like, okay, what should I do? There's the success, which is very seductive. There's this or that, this or that. And that's just experience, really.
Right.
And I'm lucky to have it. So in the end, though, what was the real thread is that you're singing songs, or you're making a record, or you're touring, or whatever it is. And that's the key. That's why Mötorhead rules. Is they went through punk, and they went through, glam or disco or whatever. Not musically, but they went through all of those scenes, and they never stopped. They made a record pretty much every year, and just kept touring,
and just kept being Mötorhead too.
That's right. They didn't go outside their box. They didn't try to make a Kiss disco record, So they weren't full of shit, is what it is all about for them. And for me, I didn't have that luxury. I was part of the MTV generation, where I'm grateful to have been. Right, that's pretty cool. Like, all of a sudden you're on MTV, so many records, but then your video's not being played, and boom, where are you? So then you realize, the old school way probably, had a better theater for success. Like AC/DC or Priest or Sabbath, or those bands. Those bands made like, their first record, their second record, their third record. Then by the time on the third record, they really started blowing up worldwide. While I come from a place with disposable heroes, which isn't wrong, because a lot of people got to live out their dreams. But like, imagine, Ugly Kid Joe, for instance, like, by the time I had my skill set together, I didn't have an outlet. So imagine me now talking to you about the fact that I just made a record. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and it is a great record. I've had a chance to listen to it, and let me finish with this. Then, now that it's out, and it's been 17 years or so since the last one, not including the Stairway to Hell, but the last proper. Is this sort of, we're done, this is the reunion record, or is this just the beginning? Are we going to have a second one in a year from now, or 2 years from now? Or where do you see the band going?
I just don't have an honest answer for you there. I would say that we love each other. So therefore, just for everything we've talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if we made more music. But I would say that, let's say we go on a great touring cycle, which we're organizing now for, this record, and it's successful and there's a good vibe. Well, of course we make more music. But let's say we go out and it's a shitty vibe, no one really wants it, then we won't. But I would say, the chi, or the vibe, or the energy of what we're doing right now. I mean, my thing is, just so you know, me personally, I just want to make music. So the fact that we can do it in house with Fortman on the cheap, why wouldn't we make music? That's my vision. Who knows if anyone, I have a lot of ideas permanently. Like, I'm always then we could do this and we can do that. And my whole band's always like, all right, dude. They give me about 5% power. They let me in with my ideas. So, I think that it's our station in life to be creative, and so I hope we make more music. How about that?
Yeah, I hope so too. And I should have asked you, of course, about Dave producing the album. Is it dangerous to have somebody who's in the band produce the album? Do you sometimes need those outside ears to give perspective, or he's just such a great producer that, listen, he knows what's good?
Well, I think it's more dangerous to bring someone else in. Not like if you have a band member like Fortman that is, imagine his tenure, and then imagine him coming home and to make this record, coming home being Ugly Kid Joe. It's a crapshoot really the other way, where you're like, okay, you're going to let some other dude or a woman or whatever in as a producer, and you got to give in. That's the fifth member, the sixth member, the seventh member, whatever. and your record's going to sound like that. So no, I think it's the opposite. I think, depending on the band though, like there's a lot of egos in bands. Like for us, we don't really have a lot of ego in our own pod. Like we could shut each other down and no one gets hurt about it. Like it's all about the craft. So I think it would be the opposite it wasn't
Yeah, and of course you can't argue with his success. I mean, his success. I mean, he did both of, the Evanescence, the multi-platinum albums. He did Simple Plan, of course, Phil Alsamo and Superjoint.
He of course he has that pedigree, and that there's nothing wrong with that. We could talk about that for hours, but the main thing is realize when we found ourselves in a band with Dave, we always knew exactly what he was. So if you really listen to any of the records that we were with Dave, actually after American Swan, that was pretty much just pure Dodson. But after that, Dave's always, you knew. Like I sat with him and looked in his face. I'm like, wow, that's who you are, because he is that guy. Like he is, he's a brilliant savant, hedonistic Southern, magus. So, he's funny. You know what I mean? Like, so I imagine like your question is like, was it uncomfortable or whatever the word was? It was the opposite. It was like, everybody in the room, including the pedigree you spoke of, we all just let go, like 100%, all of us. Like, Dave, do your thing.
Right.
And he's also open to, like, if you have something inside you, he's not going to shut you down and be bossy. He's like, well, let's try it out. And, it's quick, quick and fluid, and I guess magical.
Yeah, and it did turn out magical. There is a festival here in Montreal called Heavy Montreal that's had Metallica and Twisted Sister and all the, hopefully Ugly Kid Joe will get there for the 2016 version. I was.
What month is that?
It is in this year, or this year being 2016. It'll be August 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's the first weekend of August, and a couple of years ago there was Metallica, 43,000. Last year it was Slipknot and
where is it again? Toronto?
Montreal, Heavy Montreal. You should.
Oh, rad.
Yeah.
I do listen. I love Canada. Canada is like it's like the United States, but cooler people. I travel around the world a lot, and like I always see like all these different faces, and like the Canadians are always without a doubt the coolest people.
Yeah, we try our best, and I think the last time I saw Ugly Kid Joe, I'm trying to remember. I've seen so many shows. I think it was in Ottawa, and you were opening for, was it Def Leppard, right? At the football stadium.
Yeah.
And as far as I remember, you climbed up the scaffolding and sang a song from the top of the or not the top, but at some point on the scaffolding, you sort of went crazy or climbed up that thing, and I thought, oh my God, this guy's gonna fall and kill himself. But there you go. That was great.
No. It was a great. That was a great tour. That was worldwide. Yeah, man. I haven't been in Canada in a while. That
was like 92, I guess, right?
93.
93. God.
Yeah.
We're both getting old.
It's 22 years. Yeah. Listen, man. If you have any, listen. We're right now. We finished this record other than it used to be, and right now we're taking offers from around the world. Like, so we're organizing a tour for this, 2016 run. And funny enough, like North America's a real hard market, and that's for every band, not just Ugly Kid Joe. So I really hope, it's weird. Like, of all things, like rock and roll, it's hard to get there. It's hard to get, to make the infrastructure business wise work. But I will tell you this, like I love Canada, man. What a cool place.
Yeah, really.
My mom and dad fell in love in Canada, in Montreal.
Well, there you go. That would be a perfect reason to come back. And there you have it, folks. My interview with Ugly Kid Joe's Whitfield Crane. The band's new album is Uglier Than They Used to Be. The band will be doing some shows in 2016, and we'll see what happens beyond that. For me, check me out at Mitch Lafon on Twitter. Also, I've got a pair of Black Sabbath tickets to give away. Head over to my YouTube page. These are for tickets in Montreal on February 23rd, 2016. You head over to my YouTube page, you watch the video for the Black Sabbath contest, and just follow the instructions, and you will be automatically entered. Quick reminder that those are just a pair of tickets, transportation Accommodations, food, and any other incidentals or other expenses are not included in the prize pack. The tickets are that's it. Head over to the one-on-one Mitch Lafon Facebook page. There is no with in the title because we couldn't fit it into the Facebook name, so it's one-on-one Mitch Lafon. There you have it, folks. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed Whitfield, and I'll be back in a few with a new interview. Cheers. Bye for now.